What is going on, everybody? This is Dylan with Dylan Talks Tone, and this is your weekly gear news update. I think we're back to normal gear news because there's actually news. I don't know if you're going to like it all, especially if you are a more traditional or kind of stuck to the... You'll see. You'll see as we go. Anyway, do me a favor. Hit the like button and the subscribe button if you like guitar stuff. The other thing I want to mention before we get going on the news is I'm putting together kind of a best of 2022 gear video, but I need your help to do it. In the top of this comments section, or at the top of the description in the video, there's going to be a link to a survey. Do that survey for me, and you're going to pick basically your favorite. We took all the stuff from all of the gear newses from 2022, and we put them kind of in a list, most of the stuff anyway. And basically you're going to choose the best kind of extra gear, you know, strings and apps and picks and stuff like that. The best pedal, your favorite, pedal, amp, and guitar. And there's a bunch of stuff listed there. Vote on that for me, and then maybe the last week of December, we're going to have a video and pick and share what you picked according to all of you, what you thought was the best gear of 2022. So there's a link to it in the description. Check it out, and I'm going to be mentioning it in a couple of videos because I think it's going to be a really fun thing. I've never done kind of like a best of 2022 thing, and I figured I would let you be the judge. Pretty awesome. All right, let's get into some news. We're going to talk pickups. First, we're going to talk Railhammer pickups, and we're going to talk Billy Corgan. So, Billy Corgan, Smashing Pumpkins, he uses those Reverend guitars. The pickups that are in the guitars that he uses, the Railhammer Billy Corgan Z1 pickups, are supposed to be humbuckery P90E because of the way Railhammer works. So they have the rail on the lower strings, the E, A, and the D, and then they have slugs on the B, G, and E, or G, B, and E. So the kind of balancing of those tones across the two things. I should mention, just so for those of you that might be curious about this, you can see they're like offset, but they're actually full coils. It's not like half and half in there. Anyway, it gets confusing sometimes. So you can get those the funky engraving on there. I don't know what the pricing is, but you can go to railhammer.com and check them out. If you are a Billy Corgan, Smashing Pumpkins, Railhammery, Reverendy kind of fan. The brand Crazy Tube Circuits has come out with an interesting pedal with clon tones and dumble tones in the same pedal. We're talking drives here. So if you've never played a dumble style amp before, the compression and the sort of width of the sound of those amps is really, really unique. It's really neat. There is a thing. Is it a $100,000 thing? I don't know, but there is a thing. And then, of course, the clon. So I love the name of this thing, the Unobtanium, which makes sense for most of us to be able to get our hands on a real clon or a real dumble. So you have both of these things in a pedal. We'll have to see how good it is. I mean, $300. Most of us have actually never played through any of this stuff, so I don't know if a direct comparison is even fair. But I think it's pretty cool if it can get you close. Next, let's talk Wampler pedals. So this year they've come out with a few cool things. The Metaverse delay, which is pretty cool. I think it's around $300. The Moxie Overdrive, which I think was somewhere around 150. I've got one over there. It's really, really good. The stuff's awesome. So I think this is kind of neat. Maybe taking cues from JHS with their whatever that 3 series thing is, where you can get all these pedals for $100 a piece. So now Wampler's doing something kind of similar. So now we have what is this called? The Collective series. So these things are going to be $100. They're just regular size pedals, and the 2 first ones that he's releasing are the Triumph Overdrive and the Phenom Distortion. So he said the Triumph is kind of based on his 2 favorite overdrive pedals, which are the Digitech Bad Monkey, which that's interesting. I've never thought of that one very often. And then the Boss SD1, and there's a little magic switch in between here called Smooth and Punch. And then we've got an EQ setup, and then of course level and gain. So this is going to be a pretty interesting pedal, a couple of different dimensions. What I like about Wampler is he doesn't just rip circuits off, he actually puts his own little twist on stuff, makes it do one more little cool thing than just kind of copying a circuit. So this is going to be an interesting thing. So now let's go over to the Phenom distortion, which basically, he said he made his pedal called the Plextortion, but he wanted to kind of take that to the next level and go sort of 5150-ish with this thing. So we'll have to see how these things are. I'm probably going to grab both of them, $100 a piece. I think it's worth it. I like the whole collective idea, meaning that they're kind of, in my opinion anyway, I don't know what the branding goal was, but to be able to collect, you know, like Happy Meals, collect all four or however many he's going to make. I think that's really cool. $100 a piece gets it more attainable for more people, but you get Wampler's brain in a stomp box. The dude's really smart and he makes some really cool stuff, so I think it's kind of cool. Stepping over into amp world, this is really unconventional and very interesting to me, and I have a little bit of a skepticism about this, but let's chat about it. So Mojotone out of North Carolina, they're awesome. They make great pickup parts. They make all kinds of cool stuff. We use some of their stuff here. I use their winder. It's a great winder. They're really cool people. They've always been awesome. We use them all the time. Talk to them all the time. They make those amp kits, right? And they kind of look Fendery, obviously. And they've got all of the kind of classic circuit, clone circuit things. Well, they have actually entered a partnership with Fender on these kits. It's interesting to me that they're doing this. I'm going to just read something from this press release, which I find interesting. Mojotone says in a press release, Fender carefully audited Mojotone's amplifier kits, winding diagrams, electronics, hardware construction methods, and more to ensure Fender's innovation carried on through the partnership. This is cool. I really dig it. You should go buy one of these things. Don't kill yourself. Read the directions. But, you know, build an amp. I think it's really neat. The skeptic in me says, did Fender call Mojotone and be like, yo, you're selling copies of our amps. That's not cool. We're going to come down on you. And Mojotone says, what if we did a thing where it was sort of official but unofficial? Would you still let us sell these things? I kind of wonder if that's the case. Also, it's interesting in 2022 that Fender would do this because, you know, Tone Master and all of the other digital stuff, keeping the tube legacy alive but not themselves. This is really interesting to me. I know it just sounds like they partnered up and now they're going to make these kits, you know, they're going to license these kits, but I think, this is just my conspiracy theorist talking, there's probably more to this story than that. And I think it's kind of neat, and I think you should definitely check them out if soldering and making something for yourself is something that you're into. Fender Japan, they always have cool guitars, right? They have revived 3 of their top-selling models with this limited edition run. I don't know how many of each of these they're doing, but there's a Tele, a Strat, and a Jazzmaster. They're nothing special in my opinion. They're just different colors. They're spec'd out kind of cool, 9.5-inch radius, so more modern radius, so it's not super vintagey, but they look vintagey, and they look really cool in the, you know, Fender Japan always does really kind of unconventional color combinations. You can see them here. They're pretty cool. The Jazzmaster has a matching peg head. You can't see that in the picture, but it's there, and they're kind of neat, and they're pretty reasonably priced. I think the Tele is the most expensive at like $1,100. So if you can get your hands on one of these things, I think they're pretty cool. Bold new graphics? You tell me. Let me know in the comment. Okay, now this one is really going to test a lot of you folks who are, and me, who are interested in keeping the legacy of a guitar player alive. Wolfgang Van Halen and EVH Gear, of course, they're all a family. are set to release 2 versions of the red stripy Van Halen guitar. 24 frets version and a hardtail version. What do you think? Do you want one? Does it make sense? Should they even do it? Would it make these guitars, like, I've never wanted one of those, but now that there's a 24 fret, I want one? Or now that there's a hardtail, I want one? Or does it make you be like, that ain't Eddie Van Halen. Leave the thing alone, man. Like, let me know what you think in the comments. This is an interesting one to me. It could go either way for a lot of people, obviously. Personally, I don't want either of those guitars, but I kind of do want the regular one. The other thing they're doing is they're going to take some of this manufacturing to Fujigen in Japan, because apparently Eddie Van Halen played some Fujigen guitars, some other stuff, V's and some other guitars in his time, and so they assumed that he would think that was cool, so they're going back to Fujigen with some of this stuff. Obviously, to keep it more attainable for people, because some of this custom shop stuff is pretty expensive. So, let me know what you think of that. This is an interesting story. I don't know how many people it'll actually affect, but get in the comments and let me know if it affects you. I've been really liking what Gibson has been doing with the way they're releasing models. I like this whole thing where they start with a custom shop thing that's, unobtainable for a lot of people, but a lot of people really dig, the $8,000 true to life relic custom shop thing. And then maybe they'll come out with a, $4,500 version or a $3,000 version that makes sense, like an actual just regular signature model. And then follow that up with an Epiphone that is more attainable. And I'm talking signature models here. So Adam Jones, we know they came out with the super custom shop one. It was really limited edition. And they came out with a more attainable, for a lot of people, the Gibson version. Now they have the Epiphone version. Here's the thing. This is not just coming out with an Epiphone version of the Gibson version. What they're doing is he's partnered up with some artists, and they're doing these limited runs of guitars with art on the back. And you can see the picture here, Veil of Bees. It's a really cool, kind of really creepy, super cool piece of art that's done on the back of the guitar. They're going to do 800 of these. Now, I don't know if they're going to come out with more Adam Jones Epiphones that are just normal ones, but this comes with a hard shell TSA case with this collectible for $12.99, which, that's really cool. And I think it's really neat that they're coming out with like a collectible version. Hopefully they'll come out with just a normal one that we all can buy for, $1,100 or something, or $1,000 or whatever they cost. I think it's really cool though. Let me know what you think of this. I don't need any guitars right now, but I would get in line for this if I did think I needed one, because this is pretty cool. Let me know what you think in the comments. Please do me a favor. Go to the link below. Check out that survey, because that's something that I'm really stoked on. It's kind of really fun to do this. I want to know what you think of all of this gear this year and the stuff that really kind of got you excited. Now, we are not including this week or anything to the end of the year, because I've already released the survey, because I was trying to get it to where we could do it at the end of the year. But anyway, check it out. Do me a favor and subscribe and like and hit the bell and do all the things that you do when you watch a YouTube video. And make sure you check out our live stream on Thursday at 8 p.m., our podcast at Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time becomes a podcast, but we do it live. And then also our guitar nerdery videos that are on Monday. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you tomorrow.